everyone. Can you hear me well? Yeah. I'll try my best to speak louder. I'm Julia, but I know that a lot of people here already know me. Hey, ladies. And we are from Ladies That UX, and this is Maddie. And I came here to present a little bit of our community for you. I hope you enjoy. And this is my first time talking, so be patient with me. Thank you. So, do you know the phrase, they might forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel? A little over a year ago, I decided to change careers. And it was an easy decision to make, but a really difficult one to carry out. Until one day, I met a person who became my mentor, and I no longer felt lost, but rather inspired, motivated, and happy about the decision that I've made. I remember one day saying, hey, I owe you a big one. But he told me, don't worry, give it back to someone who needs it, right? And that's where all started. Today, I'm UX UI designer here in Lisbon, one of the most incredible cities in the world. And in my free time, of course, I like to explore the city and, but I'm also committed to give back the support that I received at a crucial time in my career transition. So, in February of this year, Mandy invited me to be part of this amazing community, Ladies That UX Lisbon. And since then, that is where I have tried to help other ladies that have been through career transition and also to enter the UX UI market. Since the beginning, I'm super proud to say that we are more than 300 women in our WhatsApp group where we support each other in various aspects of life, not just career. Every Thursday, we hold meetings. And since February, we met more than 20 times. And where almost 100 ladies have been present to connect and share their experiences. You see, these meetings have become the heartbeat of our community, providing a supportive space for learning, personal growth, and also to connect and, of course, meet incredible women with different backgrounds and also amazing stories. And I'm super happy and I'm super emotional today because I can see a lot of ladies here today watching us, supporting us, and representing this community that are growing super fast and super strong. And also, I want to thank you, the ladies that are seeing us online now. Thank you so much. Okay, I believe that helping others goes beyond giving support. This is a fundamental skill in our community, in our field. Through the act of helping, we also learn and grow as professionals and also as human beings, of course, right? And the feeling of making a difference for a person is rewarding, and often we receive much more than we gave. So, for today, I asked some ladies what soft skills they learned in our community. And the first one is Mia Cabrini. She's here. Hi. And she changed from architecture to UX UI design. And I truly agreed with her when she said we have wonderful networking, because it is. And she said really true point that it is genuine network because we share our experiences. And through that, we connect, and not just on LinkedIn, right? Yeah. Right. And the second lady is Michelle, and she's there also. Thank you. And she told me one of the soft skills that, in my personal opinion, is one of the most important for our field. It's empathy. So by listening to the stories and experience of people from different backgrounds and career paths, we are able to better understand the needs and challenges of others, which is essential to creating truly centered user products and experiences. So thank you, Michelle and Leah, and thank you all for being here. But I already gave my opinion. Now I want to know what Maddie thinks. Do you agree with the ladies?
Yes, I do agree with the ladies. I think it's very important to have a heart when we are doing something that we enjoy to do. And it's great to have a safe space to go when we feel overwhelmed or that we cannot do something in work. It's good to have a place where you can just ask, and people will actually help you in a way that will drive you in the right direction or in the direction that you need to go. So yes, I totally agree with you. And let's start by talking about what it is this that should be talked and what community can give you in a sense. And community can be a community like ours, or can be a community like Friends of Figma. It can be a community. It can be a community with with your peers. It doesn't have to be something concrete, but it has to be something that you can have a resource for. So that's very important. Uh, Talking about emotions and how we live in this generation, and specifically to UX designers that need to comprehend what others feel, what others want to show, and specifically how they can portray that in order to help. So something also really important about this is thinking about a business perspective. Yes, we can think about emotions, we can think about everything related to our job, but how can a company gain with these soft skills, and why it is important for companies also to care about soft skills? By focusing on this, you not only by companies focusing not only on this, they can increase their return of investment, because by a person to work on their soft skills, they can work on their empathy, they can work on their communication skills, that interpersonal communication. There's a lot of things that you can work on, and that's why soft skills is important. Technical, everyone can learn alone. Soft skills, you need the other. And that's why it's so important to talk about this. Another great thing is highlighting the non-technical importance. So as I said, technical, it's amazing, but without this understanding of the other person and how they feel, if they like that you touch them, if they like that you talk with them, if they like that you look in their eyes, because there's people who don't like that you look in their eyes. It's important to comprehend these small things, specifically in UX design, in my opinion. There's other areas, of course, but now we are talking about UX design. Another great thing is enhance employee performance. So I don't know if you know this, but by working on your soft skills in a way that creating processes that actually make your mind think of the other, it makes it quicker to do your job, because you're not thinking or overthinking in your head. You're actually thinking, how can I help this person? And that's very important, and just boosts productivity, because you forget that it's even for you. This is your job. This is not personal. This is for the other. So that's a great way to also focus on soft skills. So from paper increase in daily sales stats, impact on position, and on we all are interested in it, and how can we gain, or what soft skills can actually increase this perspective on it. Let's talk a little bit general. Let's talk about sharing wisdom and communication. When you are in a situation with the other person and you need to understand how to interact with them, the best way to do it is to listen. So by having this introspective or understanding, why is this person saying this exactly? Why is it not saying something else? It's important. Curiosity. Live with that curiosity, because it will drive you in a direction that will actually increase your growth and not only the other person. You'll start to understand that we are not here all alone in this world. And specifically with the pandemic, we all started to live in a generation, or in a situation that we decided that there were things more important than actually just work, right? It was something that we started to live in ourselves, and that's why communities now, it's so important. Why having this desire of going beyond for your sake. And that's also another great thing about soft skills, because it doesn't have to be something hardworking. It just needs to be with the other person. It just needs to be with one person, doesn't one at a time. You can be today just with one, because you can feel overwhelmed with more than one person, and that's okay. You can just talk with one and learn a lot by one person at a time. That's okay. There's no problem there. Another great thing is how to use this community in a way that will increase your continuous feedback and adaptability. Something that I've learned a lot about the community is that uh, the way they share their Figma files, sometimes they share their Figma files to understand how can they do something better. That's great, because people start to ask, for example, with maze, a lot of people like to use maze, for example, or other ways of testing, right? And there's always someone who says, hey, thank you so much for sharing this with me, with us in the community. There's a few things that I couldn't do because it doesn't make sense for me, but it says that I can respond. Can you help me with this? Let's try to do this form a little bit better. Let me help you. People, without even wanting anything in return, they go there and they learn. What do they learn with this? They learn that there's always something to improve. There's always something to listen, to learn from others. And that's super important. Another great point is leadership in community. Leadership, it's not the organization, it's not the leaders in the organization. It's for each one of you. You can build your leadership in these situations. You can ask someone, hey, I can help you. For example, mentorship, I can help you with this. I can be the leader that you need right now, because sometimes we don't have a leader on our jobs. Startups, sometimes it's just one person. How can you work in just one person? You need someone to be there for you because you don't know everything. And that's why community is important. Not only this, but for giving specific situations for you, we wanted to bring you something concrete that you can use. This is just ideas specific. We didn't have time for a lot, so I just wanted to share something that we worked on for entry level, transitioning, seniors, medium, whatever it is, there's always something that we can do better. This is just examples of what you can do. It doesn't mean that only juniors can do public speaking or articles. It doesn't, it's just something that you can do today to build yourself up in a way that it's good for your future and for your present. This is just an example of what you can do. For example, in communication, you don't, if you don't want to do public speaking, that's fine. You don't have to do public speaking. You can do, like I said, one-on-one. You can start by building that communication. There's empathy. Empathy that Julia talked a lot about it, and also Leah, if I'm not mistaken, also said a little bit about empathy, how you relate to the other person in these situations, and what you can do concretely to increase these empathetic situations. Another thing is teamwork. Teamwork when you're, like the example, I will bring the example of the startup. So you're in a startup, you're alone. Who can you have a teamwork with, right? Because you're the only designer. In my situation specifically, I can talk. I'm not the only designer right now, but I started kind of not alone, never alone, but I needed someone to help me to understand what's going to my processes, right? The developers, great way to communicate. I love working with the developers. They are always trying to understand how I think, and they are always trying to understand we are always trying to understand the other way. Communication is key. For example, first time I entered the company, what did I do? I spoke one-on-one with everyone. Of course, it's a startup, it's easier, but I did one-on-one with everyone. I asked, okay, I'm new here. Hi, my name is Maddie. Nice to meet you. Please let me know a few things about you and also how you work and how can I work with you, which is more specifically. What are you waiting for me to bring to the table? What do you want? What can I do, right? So we had these conversations, and I wrote these conversations, and I told them, okay, I will promise that what I will do is always have the communication with you. I will always go to you and ask you X, Y, and Z. And if I cannot do something that you ask me to do, I will let you know. Because communication is key for the work environment. Other things, talk with the CEO, CTO in my case, having conversations with different parts of the perspective, also with users, of course. But in this sense, I'm talking about the startup. But this is just a way of doing things. Each one of you can understand how to do this in specifically situations by, for example, conflict resolution. How in a situation where you are and you don't know what to do, how can you solve this? And you cannot think about only on yourself, or even your loved ones sometimes are not in the same situations as you because they don't work in the same area as you, so they don't understand why you are so mad about a button. So who can you talk with for people in the same situation and ask, how can I solve this? Because they don't understand why the button should be like this. I'm trying to tell them that in terms of accessibility, this needs to be X, Y, and Z. And in terms of size of a person's finger, it needs to be like this or this. How can I explain this? Or if someone is being rude to you, how do you interact with them? Are you going to be rude back? Is that going to solve something? No, you use your soft skills, you use your interpersonal communication, you use your thought process, your problem-solving problems to actually have a solution with this. So let's talk about these situations and why they are important and how do they relate to soft skills. So let's talk with empathize. So empathize is something that we all know. It's the process, it's the first one. So how do you use soft skills in this situation? You communicate with the other, we see the other, you listen to the other, use interpersonal communications and use your skills in a way that listens to the other. You listen first. First and foremost, you listen, write, see what they are doing, interact with them in a way that it's their time to shine in some way. And then the other one is define. So in define, you're going to talk with your teamwork. You're going to ask them, I need your collaboration in this specific topic. How can I collaborate? Another way. So another thing that we can do for ideate, for example, is to never try to do this alone. That I always say this, like, don't be alone, don't communicate. Sometimes we have to be alone. And how can we do this? By sometimes we have to be resourceful. So by being resourceful, when we can have another person with us, how do we do this kind of research without having bias syndrome? Because it happens. We have to have a way to read other things in a way that is without us being there, by having their target audience or their persona really interested in what we want. So we need to understand what key points do they want and how can I search for this person. For example, a great way to do this is by doing acting. So by having classes on acting, you start to understand how to be in the head of someone else, how to understand other person. It's a great way of doing it. There's a lot of theaters here in Lisbon and in Portugal. So if this is something that interests you to develop, I strongly advise. Another thing is prototype. You need to be really focused on what you're doing. You need to see what works and what doesn't work, how to actually use your techniques in a way that will give you the result that you want to give your result, right? So right now, something that is also one of the most important, and most of us sometimes don't have the time or we cannot do it, is test. And we test with our colleagues. So it's right, but in a perfect world, we would do user testing a lot. But it's important to understand this. So the testing. How do we test with our soft skills? How can we use our soft skills in this? By having an understanding that the other person that is right there sometimes doesn't know what she's saying or he's saying. It's normal. We don't know sometimes because we don't pay attention to what we are doing. We pay attention to what we are saying or what the other is saying to us. It's normal. It's completely normal. So sometimes we need to understand when we need to focus on the person that is talking with us or what they are doing, because sometimes what they are doing is not what they are saying. So that's a great skill to take into consideration when you're doing testing. Another way is to also look at their eyes. So where are they looking? Are they looking at what they are doing? If not, bring back. You have time, bring back. Say, hey, so thank you so much for doing what you did so far. Explain a little bit of what you did until now. You bring them back to where you are. Just a small tweaks and ticks that you can do to have a conversation that is flowy and not boring in some way. But yes, another way is the importance of UX design. We all know that how important this can be for our situational life. And I also transitioned from marketing, and I don't regret it at all. I think that marketing helped me a lot with bringing the marketing to the UX design, but UX design is a world that it's so much welcoming. As you can see, there's a lot of people here that love what they do and are here to learn more about it. No one said you have to be here today. You came because you wanted, and just shows how powerful UX design can be. So, call to action. Why did I say call to action? Because there's something that we all have that we forget, that there's no new or no growth without some kind of action, without some kind of clicking or some time of doing something, but always beyond the pixel. If you want to be something, if you want to grow or not, there's people who like where they are. But if you want to grow, you need to actually take action the same way that you say to the users, you need to do this to buy this because I need this to be, it's important. If you're saying to someone that this works, why wouldn't it work for you, right? So thank you so much for being here. And remember, beyond every pixel, there is a person, and we need to remember that. Thank you.